Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabby, and for today's video I am finally gonna sit down and talk to you guys about my experience working at Starbucks. I have worked for the company for about 3.5 years before I decided that it was time to move on and do something different. And just today I'm just gonna talk to you guys about my experience working there and now that I am no longer a barista and what was all that like. So I did write down a few notes here just to kind of keep myself on track with the things that I wanted to say. Why did I choose to work for Starbucks 3.5 years ago? So the reason that I wanted to kind of find another job or even like work for Starbucks was because before that job I basically worked at like a poke place, and I worked there for a little bit. I didn't really like the management, so I kind of just decided to try something different. When I was looking for other jobs, I didn't really apply to Starbucks firsthand because I heard from other people that I obviously didn't know and like the internet that the job was going to be very hard and all this type of thing. So that kind of pushed me back a little bit into wanting to work there. But then I just decided one day, just apply, see how it goes. Especially if you're looking for a job, you kind of just have to apply to a bunch of different jobs and see which one of them is going to kind of take you in. Once you're already there, you don't like the job after like a year or so, you can always just leave and find something else. I did apply. This was again 3.5 years ago. I was originally living in Miami, Florida during this time. I don't remember if it was an email or a phone call by the manager letting me know that she would like to interview me. I stressed out a little bit about that because I don't really like interviewing. It is kind of a little scary to go into either a store or somewhere and just kind of showcase who you are in terms of like what you would be able to do for the job. So then I went in for the interview. It felt really fine. I remember being really nervous. A tip for anyone who's applying to any job: arrive at the place that you're going to interview at least 5 to 10 minutes before, because it does look good on you. By the time I applied for the application and got the interview, it probably took about 2 weeks. Like I said, I go in for the interview. They ask you a bunch of basic questions, really just like any other interview, like what have you done previously that had a customer upset and what did you do to fix it. They don't really ask you any sort of questions regarding to coffee. I think a lot of people think that they kind of expect you to know about coffee, and you kind of don't really have to know anything about it. You could be a barista who's never even tried coffee, doesn't like coffee, and you can still end up working for the company. A tip for the interview, or how I think I got it, was obviously showing up 5 to 10 minutes before, dressing business casual, looking up the company's dress code and seeing if you're allowed to wear any makeup, if you're allowed to wear any nail polish, any jewelry, even come down to like your earrings and how your hair should be. I would say they kind of do look at that. I think I prepared by just looking at questions online. Like you can go on Google and like search up like typical interview questions. Also, another thing, when an interviewee asks you if you have any questions for them at the end of the interview, make sure you have like at least 2 or 3 questions that you have in the back of your head, because that's also really important. You never want to go to an interview and they ask you if you have any questions and people say no. Find a couple questions that you're gonna have in the back of your head if they do ask you. I went through the interview. I then had to wait for the manager to call me or text me letting me know if I made it into the team. Again, I think I waited about maximum 2 weeks, and then I came back in and then I had to start all the paperwork. This is where they typically sit you down and they walk you through how you can get promoted, any benefits that the company has or doesn't have, how your work schedule would kind of look like. At least from my perspective, by the time you are in the company, you typically have to wait a week or 2 to kind of have the managers can put you on the schedules, but you don't really start working and training the minute you kind of get accepted into the job. Starbucks runs at a 3-week scheduled timeline, so you do set your schedule for 3 weeks ahead of time. Now I'm gonna talk about training. If you ever look at a Starbucks menu, there is a lot of things on there, and so the training can be a little difficult for some people. Mind you, once people go through the training, it really just depends on the person. There's some people who it might take them 2 or 3 months to finally understand everything that's going on. know there's some people who automatically go through a training and they become trainers like within a month later, or they become chefs within a month after they got hired. I did become a barista trainer, and basically what that is that you are getting on the new baristas that are going to be on board. You're going through a week-long training of teaching them all the basic necessities. So how to steam your milk, how to pour your shots, how to do all the basic drinks, and then from there they kind of learn more difficult drinks. So with the training, you do get trained on the espresso machine, you do get trained on how to work the little pad whenever you go to like a food stand and they put in all the orders. You learn how to do that. You learn how to brew coffee. You learn how to do what's called customer support. So you are the backhand person of whoever's on the floor. So you're the one in charge of restocking all the milks, restocking their lids, making sure anyone who's on the floor actively making drinks or putting in the food in the oven, you're making sure that their fridge is stocked, helping out the customers up front. Like, you're basically the running man of the entire floor. Depending if you are coming into a cafe store or a drive-through store, you're obviously going to work on different things, but a drive-through store, they do put you to already kind of wear a headset, kind of at least here in the orders. I would say that's the hardest thing for anyone to kind of learn, because it is so new and it is so different to like have one headset on, be able to hear a customer, be able to kind of take an order. But what I did when I kind of trained people is I would have them just at least hear what's being done in the headset, because that way you're not kind of thrown in automatically kind of being frazzled by it. I like to have my trainees kind of watch someone else take orders or sit at the window or anything like that. That way they can kind of see what it was like before they actually went and did it. So I think that was the hardest part for anyone to kind of learn. Also, teaching people how many shots go in each coffee, how many syrup pumps go in each coffee, what milk to use, how to steam that. That all is so mechanic that eventually, if you just kind of make the same drink and you just kind of add a little bit to it, you eventually just get used to it, because it is a lot. It is a lot to memorize. It's a lot to kind of go through. I even remember when I first joined, learning how to do drinks was extremely terrifying for me, but I kind of learned how to do all the other positions. And then when I transferred from the store in Miami to the store in Tampa, that's kind of where I told my shifts when there wasn't like a busy time in the day to kind of put me on bar, meaning that you are making like all the hot drinks, or you get put like on a cold bar, which is like all the refreshers, all the frappuccinos. I'd say the first thing people learn when they get put to be any drinks are typically like refreshers, because those are the easiest things to learn, and tea, and then they get put on like frappuccinos. I would have a little bit of anxiety learning how to do like hot bar. It's just easier if you kind of learn how to do that. If you're not in a busy time, like ask your shift to be like, hey, by the way, can you put me on hot bar for a little bit, even for like 30 minutes, you kind of get the hang of it. When I got first hired, the manager that I hired me was going to go to another store that they hadn't built when I got first hired, so I had to kind of wait for that store to be built. What had happened was that I went to a different store every week. So I would walk in on like Monday or whatever and just be like, yeah, I'm new, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do this, I only know how to do these couple things, and that's it. They typically would always put me what Starbucks called like the POS system, which is like the pad of where all the orders are, and then I had to learn how to work a drive-through store, because the store that I was being hired for was going to be turned into a drive-through store. So then after about a month of going to like 4 different stores, I finally got transferred over to a drive-through store, and then I kind of stayed there for a while until the store that I was basically hired finally opened. I learned how to work a drive-through store at this particular store down in Miami. I really like that specific store because I did have this one other barista who literally helped me to understand how like working a headset, how to take orders, and also how to cash people out at the window. From there, once the store that I got hired finally opened, I moved down to that one, and that store was beautiful. Actually, the people from corporate in Washington State kind of helped to build the store. And then my mother decided that she wanted to get out of Miami and come here to Tampa. So then I had to go through the transferring process. From the time I got hired to the time I was going to come down here to Tampa. So I was working for the company for about 3 months, and then I unfortunately have to tell my manager that I was going to be moving to another city, but I was still going to be working with Starbucks in general. So I had to say goodbye to my manager. I had to say goodbye to all the baristas who were working with me. As a barista, you can basically transfer to work anywhere in the district, in the region. There are a lot of people who kind of go from like state to state. The things that need to happen is your manager and your district manager from the store that you're working at need to accept a transfer request, and then once they accept it, they then need to send it to the manager and the district manager of the store that you're going to be going to, and they need to accept it. Or if that kind of falls through, you then quit the store that you're working at now and then just reapply to the store that you're go to, which luckily that didn't really happen with me. I got transferred from one store to another. I was working as a barista for 3 months, and they don't really do that because you're still kind of new. They don't really wait until you're about 6 months to allow transfers to happen, but I got really lucky and I was able to get transferred. I got transferred to the store that I last quit from. I am going to be putting a card up there of all the videos that I have filmed in like the last 2 years or so, if I ever mentioned that I was going to go to work. So I do have an entire playlist on my channel. The good thing about like the fact that I worked in Miami is because I learned what like un cafecito con leche would be for like Starbucks terms, and I also speak Spanish, so I was able to kind of help them out here and be like, I also speak Spanish, I can help you guys like translate anything. So that was really nice. But the transferring process was kind of quick. The managers just kind of send each other an email, and the other manager just has to accept it. Now I'm going to be talking about working for the actual company. I do want to talk about the difference of working at a cafe store versus a drive-thru, because I did have the opportunity to work at both. Mind you, I only worked at a cafe store for about a month before I was strictly at a drive-thru store. Cafe stores are a little bit more intimate because no one has a headset on. Everyone is just basically talking to one another, and the big thing that Starbucks will push on anyone that works there is talking to customers, because they want the environment to feel very, it's your third home away from home. So that was the one thing that I struggled with at first, because I don't really like talking to people in general. I think it's a little scary, it's a little intimidating, but I do think that working at this company really helps me to kind of just make small talk with people and not be so intimidated by it. Once you work at a drive-thru and you are working out the window, you do have to kind of just talk to people while you're waiting for their order to kind of come in. That was the one thing I didn't really like, but then like as you just kind of keep doing it, you kind of just get used to it. And obviously there are gonna be people who like don't want to talk to you or who are like on their phone, and that's normal, and there's really nothing you can do at that point. Starbucks is considered like a fast-paced, fast food restaurant. At a drive-thru store, obviously everyone has a headset on. There's like more people on the floor doing things, like taking orders and all that kind of stuff. I personally really liked working at a drive-thru place. If they ever would have put me back through a cafe, I would have not been able to do it, because I feel like cafes are so much more slower. Everyone's more relaxed. There's like one person on bar, there's another person like kind of doing other things. Like there's less people on the floor. Now I'm gonna talk about some of the benefits that you can get. From what I remember, the benefits and all that stuff don't tackle into your account until after, I don't know if it's 3 months or 6 months. You basically get medical and dental insurance. You can be a 17-year-old kid and you get free insurance from the company, which is amazing. Highly recommend it for that. You also get the opportunity to get school paid for. So obviously you do have to wait a couple months in order for all these things to kind of click in, but you can register and apply with Arizona State University, because that is a school Starbucks is associated with. I think I did 2 semesters with them. I really liked my experience with them. Everything was super nice. I do know people who did get their degrees based off of that, and they really liked it and they really enjoyed it. That's another really big perk. Another thing is you can be 16 years or older to work for Starbucks. Like I said at the beginning, you don't really need coffee experience. You also don't really need that much experience to even get the job. I think if you kind of go in for the interview just really happy to be working there, just have a really positive outlook and be able to want to learn, that is a really good demeanor to have when you're doing your interview. I think obviously with Starbucks being such like a high standard, it's more high standard than McDonald's, you are going to get a couple of rude customers. When you work at a customer service job, you're gonna have people who are not rude, you're gonna have people who don't want to talk to you, you're gonna have people who, even if you look at them, they're gonna generally think that like you said something rude about them or anything like that. If you don't ever feel comfortable dealing with that sort of situation, you can always go up to your manager or go up to a supervisor. You have to have at least one supervisor on the floor. Also, another thing to like whole training thing that I told a lot of my trainees is if you are ever stuck in a situation where you don't really know what to do or anything like that, like always ask questions, because that is how anyone is gonna learn how to do that job, or any job in particular. Like you're gonna mess up and that's okay, because everyone does. Like we all make mistakes, we all learn from them, but don't be afraid to just ask questions or be like, hey, by the way, I don't really know what to do. Or like if you're like in the middle of what they call like peak or like their rush time, don't be afraid to like stop anyone, just be like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm gonna need a little bit of help. When I was a barista, I would rather have someone ask me or anyone around them instead of them trying to figure it out. Now for the final part of this video, I'm just going to kind of go over some questions that I think people might want to know. So the first thing is, how long does it kind of take to memorize making drinks, taking orders, doing all that kind of stuff? For me personally, I feel like it did take me a little bit of time, which is completely fine because everyone kind of learns differently. To like get really comfortable with everything, it might have taken me a full year, honestly, to understand everything and be able to kind of do everything by myself without having the need or the worry to like ask someone if I'm doing something right. What made the job a lot easier to kind of go to is obviously the co-workers that I worked with. I did kind of become the barista that knew how to work every day part, so I knew how to open, I knew what a rush kind of felt like in the morning, I knew what an afternoon felt, I also knew how to close. Like I asked my manager to kind of put me in different positions. I learned how to basically do everything, and I think that is something that can really work in your favor. Obviously it depends on like your schedule, but it is really nice to kind of know all the different day parts and know how everything works. The one thing that I really liked about the job was the co-workers that I had. I think they made the experience a lot more nice and a lot more exciting to kind of come to work, because a lot of times like you might get co-workers that you just don't vibe with, and then I feel like your whole work experience isn't that good. But slowly but surely I did become friends with people that I worked with, and that was really nice because I'm like, you're able to kind of like just make jokes with one another and not just go in to work and just like not really talk to people and just be like a horse with the little things. Another thing I'm gonna say is, if you do want to apply to this job and you do get into it, do not take the job so seriously. It's just a job. Like, have fun. If someone were to ask me what I think the hardest part of the job is, kind of doing the same thing every single day. And I think that can get very tiring. Finding little bits of joy kind of really helps to kind of push through the last couple hours you have on the floor. Is a job made for everyone? No, I do not think that this job is made for everyone, because it is a very fast-paced environment. You do have to learn to be very cooperative with everyone. You have to learn how to be vocal about things. I saw it all the time with like anyone who was new. If they needed to get somewhere, they would just kind of stand there and wait for everyone to get out, or wait for one person to get out of the way, and then they would go by. Because let's say you're going to the back and you're getting though, you want to let whoever's on the floor like making the hot drinks know that you're gonna kind of come by, just in case if you bump into them, which has happened before, because there are people who don't say anything and they expect you to kind of see them. I don't think the job is made for everyone, because it can get very hard and it can get very stressful on people. If you want to try it, go ahead. I really enjoyed my 3 years of working there. I made really good friends that I'm probably gonna have for the rest of my life. Do I recommend the job? Yes. Did I like the job? Yes. Was it stressful? Yes. Was there days that I wanted to cry because something happened? Yes, like obviously. Did I enjoy every moment that I went on the floor and worked? Probably not, but that's normal. Every job is gonna have that. Getting promoted, everyone starts off as a barista, and then from there you become a barista trainer. At least inside the store, you go from barista trainer to shift supervisor, and the shift supervisor basically is the one who is seeing where everyone's gonna go, running bathroom breaks, running 10-minute breaks, making sure any minors get their 30 minutes after working 4 hours. If there's like a hiccup in the store, they're the one to fix the problem. The highest tier that I went on was barista trainer, which I kind of didn't really expect to become. It just kind of happened because my manager was like, I think you would be really good for this position, and so she kind of just put me there, and I had a lot of fun. Also, another great benefit to the job is that you do get free food and free drinks when you're on the clock. So the minute you clock in, you can get a free drink and a free food item when you're on there, which is amazing because you can also try all the weird drinks that people kind of come up with, or you can make your own sort of concoction with the drinks. Last two questions that I want to answer is, will I ever go back? Probably not, because I'm kind of done with that whole like making drinks and then coming home and smelling like coffee and having to wake up super early. And the last question is, why did I quit? I quit after 3.5 years because I was just basically done. I really wanted to try something different, which is kind of really funny because I think at the beginning of this year I mentioned to my mom that for the summer I wanted to have like a summer job. I didn't really think that I was going to be quitting. I ended up having like a little summer job, which I really like. Kind of got tired and I really wanted to try something different. It wasn't because I didn't like the people that I worked with. It's honestly because I just needed a change of scenery and I was tired of kind of doing the same thing over and over again. So that concludes my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any other questions, don't forget to leave them down in the comment section down below and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Don't forget that I have a playlist dedicated to all the videos that I say that I'm going to be working at Starbucks, because that was a job that I did have for 3.5 years and it was very sad and bittersweet to kind of leave. Off to better things. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe down below and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!